Riley's POV. Today is my first anniversary with my boyfriend. I'm so excited. A year of love and beautiful memories, ones that have been made and yet to be made. Noel, my boyfriend, owns a cafe, one at which I took a part-time job. It's been an amazing experience so far, getting to see him all the time. The sneaky moment we took to make out while at work, the thought alone made me blush. To celebrate our special day, I decided to buy him a gift. I chose a beautiful watch that I knew he would love. It took me so much to save up to be able to afford a watch, anything for my man. As I entered the store, the salesgirl greeted me. "Hi, can I help you?" "I'd like to buy a watch, please," I replied. The salesgirl showed me some options, and I finally found the perfect one. My lips spread into a smile as I imagined how happy he was going to be when I gave him this. It made me wonder what gift he has for me. As I was about to pay, the salesgirl made a comment that made me blush, feeling a little shy. "Wow, you're splurging on this gift. He must be someone special," she said with a smirk. My face heated up as I tried to keep a natural look, but who was I kidding? I shrugged and said, "Yeah, he is." After buying the watch, I headed to the cafe. As I arrived, Selena, my best friend and colleague, greeted me. "Hey, Riley. Happy anniversary," she exclaimed. "Thanks, Selena. I'm so excited for today," I replied. She chuckled, I could tell. Selena's expression suddenly turned serious. "Anyway, your darling boyfriend hasn't been here all day." My heart skipped a beat as my brows drew together in confusion. Where could he be? But then I thought, maybe he's planning a surprise. My inner conscience giggled at the thought as thousands of thoughts ran through my mind on what Noel's surprise could be. I couldn't help but feel excited. "I hope our date goes well tonight." "Thanks for telling me, Selena," I said, trying to sound calm. Selena smiled. "No problem, Riley. I'm sure he'll make it up to you tonight." I nodded, feeling a little more at ease. The rest of the day went by like a blur. As I packed my stuff up, ready to leave, I received a call. I groaned, wondering who it could be this time. I picked up the phone from the counter, my lips forming into a smile seeing Noel's name appear on the screen. I slid the answer button, placing the phone on my left ear, but instead, I heard a familiar voice. It was Martin, his best friend. "Hey, Riley, sorry I am calling, something came up," he said, sounding hesitant. "What is it?" I asked, worry laced in my tone. "Noel is drunk at a bar. I think you should come pick him up," he said. I felt annoyed. Why was he at a bar on our anniversary? Gosh. What is the matter with him? He is supposed to be getting ready for a dinner date, not getting drunk in a bar. I hissed in annoyance. I didn't want to ruin our special day, so I decided to go pick him up. I finished up and rushed out to hail a cab. When I arrived at the bar, I spotted my boyfriend sitting at the counter, laughing with his ex. My heart sank. What was going on? My face fell into a deep frown as I walked closer, my heart squeezing at the sight of them sharing a kiss. No. Please, no. My lips quivered as rage surged within me. I grasped a nearby glass of drink and poured it all over them. "Riley, what the?" Noel stuttered, shocked. Tears were already beginning to accumulate at the brim of my eyes. "How could you, Noel?" I asked, my voice shaking with anger. He pushed his ex slightly off of him, getting up from the seat. "Riley." I cut him off. "Do you even remember what day it is?" I demanded. He looked taken aback, then guilty, and finally annoyed. "It's our anniversary, okay," he said like it was no big deal. I felt humiliated. "And you're spending it with your ex? What is wrong with you? Today is supposed to be our day." He shrugged. "We were just catching up." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Catching up? You call this catching up? You were fucking kissing her." I fired as a lone tear slipped down. "Look, Riley, you are overreacting," he stated. I hissed bitterly, letting out a humorous, painful laugh. "Overreacting? Wow, Noel, just great. I find you kissing your ex on our anniversary, and, I stuttered, unable to find the words. Betrayal dawned on me. You know what? I don't even care about that right now, I said, my voice rising. What are you talking about? He asked, looking confused. So you've been with her these past few days, and you've been oddly distant. All of it is because of her, I accused. He looked taken aback, but then he just shrugged. No, I haven't, he said like it was no big deal. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Seeing them together made my heart squeeze. This is the man my heart belongs to, the one I love so much. His ex chimed in, smiling smugly. So you're the substitute? She said, looking at me with disdain. I broke up with him because I went abroad, but now I'm back, you can piss off, she added. I felt furious. My hands lifted to land a slap on her face, but Noelle held my hands, restricting contact. That's enough, Riley, you are making a scene. Go home, we'll talk when I get back, he orders. I scoffed, fuck you, Noelle. Riley, he trailed off. We're done, I told him, my voice firm. He looked annoyed, but I didn't care. I turned and walked away, leaving him and his ex behind. He didn't come after me, he stayed with her like I never did matter. The question is, did I ever matter? Riley's POV. I walked into my apartment, my heart heavy. I couldn't stop thinking about the past year. I realized that many signs pointed to the truth, that arsehole never truly loved me. If only I hadn't been too oblivious. The truth was right in front of me, yet I failed to see it. I was blinded by the love I had for him. The start of our relationship was so beautiful that I never thought it would end so soon. He has not only broken my heart but crushed the plans I had for us. I felt heartbroken because I loved him so much. I never imagined he could be such a good actor and fool me around. I thought about all the times he made me feel special, all the sweet words he whispered in my ear. It was all a lie. I felt tears welling up in my eyes. I couldn't believe I wasted a whole year of my life on him. As I lay in bed, I couldn't stop crying. I felt like my heart was shattered into a million pieces. Just as I was starting to fall asleep, my phone rang. I groggily picked it up, hoping it wasn't him calling to apologize. Hello? I said, my voice hoarse from crying. Riley, it's Dr. Smith from the hospital, a voice said on the other end. My heart skipped a beat. What's wrong? I asked, feeling a sense of dread and fear as countless thoughts ran through my head. Riley, I have some good news and some bad news, Dr. Smith said. The good news is that your mom's illness can be cured now. But the bad news is that it's going to cost a lot. I felt a surge of hope. How much? I asked, my voice shaking. It's going to be around $10,000, Dr. Smith said. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Where was I going to get that kind of money? I have never held that much money. How do I start looking for so much, especially now that I have lost my job? After tonight I made up my mind to cut all ties with Noelle, which included working in his cafe. I'll try my best to pay the bill, I said, trying to sound confident. Okay, Riley. We'll need the payment within a week, Dr. Smith said. I hung up the phone, feeling worried. Although I had been working part-time jobs in the past years, most of my salary went to pay for my college tuition and my mom's hospital bills. I felt my set of tears beginning to form as my heart squeezed in fear of losing my mom. I love her so much, and she is the only one I have, but how do I get such a huge amount within a week? Where was I going to get the money for the surgery? I felt the tears streaming down. Why did everything have to happen at once? I lay in bed, feeling helpless. I didn't know what to do. I broke into a new set of sobs, feeling overwhelmed. I knew I had to find a way to pay off my mother's hospital bills. I had to. With the thought, I fell into a deep slumber. The next day, I decided to return the watch I had bought for Noelle to add up to the money for Mom's treatment. I walked into the mall, watch in hand, and approached the counter. My heart pined as I recalled how excited I was to get the watch. Arsehole. As I waited for the salesgirl to process my return, I noticed a man standing at the next counter. He was browsing through the display case, examining each item with a critical eye. The salesgirl showed him a few different options, but he rejected each one. I couldn't help but notice how handsome he was, chiseled features, piercing eyes, and a strong jawline. But what caught my attention was his picky attitude. He seemed to be dissatisfied with every option the salesgirl presented him. "How do you deal with that?" I couldn't help but ask. She chuckled. "It gets annoying, but then it is what we are hired to do." I rolled my eyes to myself. Rich people, always so demanding and never satisfied. "Tell me about it," she snickered. Finally, the salesgirl finished processing my return, and I left the store with a refund in hand. It was barely enough to handle the bills, but it mattered. I needed to apply for jobs. I needed any chance I get to work off the pending money for Mum's treatment. As I got home, my eyes caught slightly at the jacket Noel had given me the night we first met, my eyes stinging at the memory. No. He didn't deserve my tears. I picked it up and tossed it in the trash, my lips quivering. I began to pack all the things Noel had gifted me, sealing them in the box. I was done with him for good. After that, I decided to do job hunting. I needed something that paid a high salary, but every job was below budget, and the ones above budget, I didn't meet the requirements. Just as I was scrolling through job listings, my email notification popped up. It was from one of my professors, informing me that the Russell's company was hiring an assistant. My heart skipped a beat as I read the email. Russell Company was the most successful company in the jewelry industry, and working there would be a dream come true. But then the chances of me getting hired are close to zero. I had always wanted to be a famous designer, and working with the Russells would give me great opportunities. I quickly sent in my application, my fingers crossed that I would get the job. I hope I do. My thoughts are cut short when the doctor's call comes through again. My heart dropped. "Riley, I don't think you have up to a week to pay for your Mum's treatment. Her health is deteriorating," he said, his tone serious. A wave of panic washed over me. I was doing my best, for God's sake. "Is there anything you can do to help me get Mum's treatment? I promise I will pay off," I plead desperately, my voice cracking. He cut me off. "I'm sorry, Riley, but the only way is to make payment to the hospital before the surgery can be processed." With that, he cut off the call. I broke into sobs, feeling hopeless. I tried reaching out for help from friends and relatives, but nothing was working out. My aunt said she was struggling to make ends meet herself. I felt like I was at my wit's end. Where was I going to get the money? To make matters worse, I failed in several job interviews. They all said the same thing: they didn't want to give a recent graduate a chance. I felt like I was never going to catch a break. But then, after a few days of rejection, I received an email from Russell Company. They wanted me to come in for an interview. I was ecstatic. On the morning of the interview, I prepared carefully. I wanted to make a good impression and secure that job. It was the only chance I had, and I didn't want to miss it. I couldn't afford to miss it. I got to the company as early as 7 a.m. sharp, adjusting my shirt and clutching hard on my resume. "You've got this, Riley." As I walked into the meeting room, I saw a familiar face. I knew I had seen this face somewhere. Right. It was the handsome yet picky man from the mall. But this time, he wasn't browsing through jewelry. He was sitting behind a large desk, looking powerful and dominating. "Miss Flynn, welcome," he said, standing up to greet me. "I'm Aiden Russell, the CEO of Russell Enterprises." I gulped a lump, having no idea the man I judged back at the mall was going to be my boss, hopefully. I slipped my hands into his, feeling the shock surge within me, crawling down my spine. "Pleasure meeting you, sir." Aiden's POV. Today was my grandpa's 70th birthday. I had been busy with work and hadn't visited him in months, so I decided to cancel a meeting and head home early. Before I left, I wanted to pick out a special gift for Grandpa. He had raised me since I was a baby after my parents passed away. I knew it couldn't have been easy for him, a busy businessman, to take care of an infant. But he believes he owes me that much. I went to the mall and browsed through a few stores, looking for the perfect gift. I wanted something that would match his taste, but they seemed to have nothing satisfying. As I was surfing through their collections, in line, I overheard a girl complaining about rich people being demanding and never satisfied. My frown deepened. I turned to look at her, and our eyes met for a brief moment. She looked away quickly, but I was intrigued. Her hazel eyes were oddly attractive. There was something about them that caught my attention. I finally found what I wanted and paid for the gift and left the store, but I couldn't shake off the thought of those innocent hazel orbs. Gosh. When I arrived at Grandpa's house, it was packed with guests, mostly business acquaintances. He is a man of people. Exchanged pleasantries with a few of them, I finally spotted Grandpa. He was overjoyed to see me. I gave him the gift instantly. "You didn't have to, son," he said, admiring the watch. I dipped my hand into the pocket of my slacks, shrugging. "Come on, let's cut the cake now that you are here," he ushered, but was cut off by a knock on the door. The police suddenly walked into the crowd, the room falling into deep silence. Whispers filled the air as one of the cops accused Grandpa of being involved in a murder case many years ago. I was shocked. Grandpa? Involved in a murder case? It couldn't be true. What the hell? I snapped. "It's okay, son, I'll go with them." Grandpa objected to me taking him away from the police hold. The police took Grandpa away for further investigation. I escorted the guest out with apologies, and after the house was emptied, I walked into Grandpa's study room and dialed my best friend. He's a cop. "Hey, man. I need your help," I said, trying to stay calm. "What's going on?" Diego asked, his voice concerned. "It's Grandpa. The police just took him away, accusing him of being involved in a murder case," I explained. Diego's tone turned serious. "I'll look into it, Aiden. Don't worry, I'll do everything I can to help." "Grandpa." "All right, thanks." The next day I was going through the resume of the job applicant, my eyes falling on the familiar pair of hazel eyes. I told my secretary to look into the murder case, and he found out the daughter of the deceased was applying for the job. I was surprised. What were the chances? And then, it dawned on me that this girl was not just any ordinary girl. I leaned back in my chair, my mind racing with thoughts. This was going to be interesting. I walked into the meeting room, everyone turned to look at me, surprised to see me joining in on such a low-level interview. And just then, the girl with the hazel eyes, whose name was Riley Flynn, walked into the boardroom, her presence exuding professionalism. I didn't miss the way her lips parted as our eyes met, a smirk spreading on my lips. After what felt like forever, she quickly composed herself, took a seat, and proceeded to answer the interviewer's questions. I was impressed by her confidence and professionalism. After the interview, I turned to Marcus, one of my secretaries. "What do you think of her?" I asked. He raised an eyebrow. "She's impressive." I nodded in agreement. After the meeting, I called Diego and informed him of Riley's application. "Yeah. She might know something about her father's death. And if you hire her, we might be able to get more information out of her. And free your grandpa," he suggested. I rubbed on my temples, agreeing to it. As I stared a glance at her, I realized that I wasn't just going to hire her because of the information that may set my grandfather free, but her intriguing nature. There was something deep within those orbs that triggered me. "I agree," I said finally. "Let's hire her." I nodded, a small smile playing on my lips. "I'll take care of it."